broken only by continual calls from strikers anxious for information. When the news from London did come through, it brought what many had regarded as inevitable.
The National Union of Seamen has been fined £150,000 for contempt of court. The High Court has also ruled that all the union's assets should be seized.
Within minutes, NUS members were asking for instructions. National Chairman John Allen made his views clear.
They'll all come out now. And I blame Sherwood, Sterling, because they have the might of the nation against him now.
As word spread from Dover to other UK ports, there were signs of an equally hard line.
In my port, it has happened. The ships have stopped. There will be nothing sailing out of Felixstowe until this is resolved one way or the other.
I wonder what will happen if there was another Falklands and they called on the National Union of Seamen to go and give their lives again. This country now couldn't mount a campaign to combat a bloody Channel Islands campaign, let alone a Falkland Islands campaign.
The Dover pickets hope today's court action will bring increased pressure for an all-out national strike. Tonight, coachloads of NUS members from ports all over the country are on their way here for a new show of strength.
Britain and the United States have condemned Israel for sending 1,500 troops into the southern Lebanon. The Israelis say it's to eliminate Palestinian guerrillas based there. It comes after several raids into Israel. Syrian troops in southern Lebanon were put on alert as the Israelis pushed beyond what they called their security zone to within several miles of the Syrian positions.
Syria reacted to the movement of a substantial Israeli combat force into South Lebanon by putting its troops on a high defensive alert. Although Israel says there's no danger of its forces clashing with the Syrians, the new military push has raised tensions. Hundreds of helicopter-borne Israeli troops landed close to Syrian positions in pursuit of guerrilla groups hiding in the foothills of Mount Hermon. The Israeli-backed Christian militia of the South Lebanon Army figured prominently in the operation, aimed at sweeping through villages suspected of supporting guerrilla units planning to attack Israel's northern border. At the village of Ain Atta, the Israelis told the inhabitants they would not be harmed if they stayed in their homes. House-to-house searches were for what the Israelis described as saboteurs and accomplices, intent on carrying out renewed cross-border raids. The Israeli forces met no resistance. The military command has been emphatic that there's been no change of policy in Lebanon. The operation serves rather, they say, as a warning.
And to signal to all those who reside there that they'll not assist terrorists in their efforts to infiltrate, to hit targets in Israel.
The increased level of guerrilla activity against Israel has come from numerous groups. ITM was recently taken to a Palestinian training camp in the Bekaa Valley. These Syrian-backed guerrillas have the approval of, if not the active support of Damascus, for their attacks against Israel. They practice cutting through barbed wire fences in the same way they would attempt to breach Israel's defences. Guerrilla groups were planning to step up border attacks in support of the Palestinian uprising. And while the Israeli action appears to have boosted morale among riot-weary troops, the expectation is that the attacks will only be slowed down and not stopped. Brent Sadler, News at 10, Israel.
In Poland, riot police have cordoned off the Lenin shipyard in Gdansk after the Solidarity leader, Mr. Lech Wałęsa, called for a decisive protest against the country's communist government and warned of a bloody revolution unless it agreed to reforms. He was speaking at the shipyard, the birthplace of Solidarity, where thousands more workers joined the anti-government strike today. Anne Lucas in London reports.
The strike is as much about reinstating the banned trade union Solidarity as it is about fighting for better pay and the re-employment of sacked activists. 8 years ago, Lech Wałęsa led the yard workers here in a historic strike that created Solidarity and was only crushed by the introduction of martial law. Today, Lech Wałęsa called for a massive protest against the government to add force to the week-old strike at the Lenin Steelworks near Krakow in southern Poland. He warned of riots and bloodshed if the government fails to carry out reforms. The authorities have declared the strike illegal and threatened punishment of up to 3 years in jail. Members of Solidarity's National Executive Committee have been detained and the telephones of prominent dissidents cut off. But the strikers say they will not be intimidated. The